Okay, we're streaming.
All right, thank you. Well, welcome everybody to the regularly scheduled monthly District 4 Board of Commissioners meeting. Looks like we have a quorum. Can we just go around the room and do the introductions and roll call? I'm Mark Land, Commissioner.
Steve Cooley, Commissioner.
Tim Johnson, Commissioner.
Jason Vanderveen, Fire Chief.
Don Ward, Division Chief.
Great, thank you. So this is the portion of the meeting where we open it up for public comment. Members of the public are able to hear the entire meeting via Zoom or can join the meeting, and we have that link published. Chief, is there anybody in the waiting room or anywhere else that looks like they want to join and be part of the public comment portion?
No, sir, nor have we received any requests for invites or anything like that.
Okay, public comment portion of the meeting will be closed. And then the regular business, we have the approval of the consent agenda. All matters within the consent agenda have been distributed to each member of the Board of Commissioners for review, are considered routine, and will be enacted by one motion of the board with no separate discussion. If a separate discussion is desired, that item may be removed from the consent agenda and placed on the regular agenda by request. So included in the consent agenda will be the meeting minutes from the August 15th regular meeting, staff reports, which include the chief, operations, training, technical support reports, financial reports, and the vouchers, payroll, and benefits. So specifically, the expense fund revenue for August is $4,518.94. Total expenditures for September will be $578,808.20. Yeah, so if anybody would like to pull anything out of there, now would be the time to do so. If not, I'd love to entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I didn't see any need to pull anything out. Tim, anything from you?
No, nothing to pull out. I'd be happy to make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented to us.
And I'll second that motion.
Thank you. It was moved and seconded that we approve the consent agenda as presented. Any other discussion on that? All those in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries. Takes us to unfinished business. Future of District 4 meetings with City of Bellingham and community meetings update. So Chief Vanderveen, is that the one you're going to be updating on that?
Yes. Yep.
So just so the other two commissioners know, I did call Jason just an hour or so before the meeting. Just wanted to know if there was any last minute update. And basically Jason and Chief Hewitt are essentially kind of following, their plan, and no last minute surprises. But yeah, Jason, you want to fill us in on any details there?
Sure. Yeah, so we've this week we'll begin planning in earnest on the public outreach meetings that we had planned for October. To be honest with you, Chief Hewitt, between myself, Chief Hewitt, Chief Ward, some of the office staff here, August is kind of we're playing tag in, tag out as far as taking time off. So we've kind of been doing the routine things and kind of laying some groundwork for these talks, but no formal planning has taken place between Chief Hewitt and I. So like I said, that'll begin in earnest this month. And as I said in my chief's report, I'll offer you a written update at the end of this month via email, so you know where we're at and what the planning, the dates we're looking at, things like that are.
All right, sounds good. Any questions or comments on that or that process?
I guess I have a question just mainly on the process. I'm just wondering, in terms of the messaging that we're going to put into the presentations and share at the public outreach meetings. Is that something you're looking for input on, Chief? Or is there some way the commissioners can help out with that?
Absolutely. That's what that end of the month update will be, is look, here's the message and what do you think? And that may spark the need for a special meeting, frankly, early in October, if need be, where you can critique, or we can bat around some different ideas. Or if you would like to meet one-on-one with myself, we could go over, meet at Station 12 and kind of go over the plan as well. Might be easier than a public, a special meeting, but yes, absolutely. I want your input into what the message is going to go out. Just got to give Chief Hewitt and I a chance to finally get together and sit down and put what we think is the best thing. So.
Okay. Thank you. I would certainly be more than willing to have a meeting like that, whether it's at Station 12 or wherever.
Okay.
So.
Great. Thank you.
Thanks.
Likewise, I'm happy to be a part of that.
Great. Thanks.
Yep. Yeah, I think you sense from us, Jason, we're nervously anticipating, the details, and we want to do what we can to help. But at the same time, we all recognize that our role is governance and not the day-to-day, operational details. But just, obviously reach out to us when you think it's appropriate and we can help.
Will do. Thank you.
All right. Any other unfinished business before we go on to new business? All right. Is there any new business?
I don't know if it's necessarily new business, or do you want to bring that letter up under correspondence, Commissioner Lane?
Yeah, I mean, it was next, so
okay.
It's
all right.
Really okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so then good segue to the correspondence. I mean, as far as I'm aware of, we have two letters, one from Bruce Ansel, chairman of District 21, the other one from our attorney. So on District 21's letter, I got that, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago, and shortly thereafter asked Jason to forward it to you. So yeah, I can see why Bruce, on behalf of District 21, wanted to formalize that. I don't think there's anything in that letter that's necessarily a surprise. There's a timeline that he kind of spells out, which I think, again, shouldn't be really any surprise. So I guess for me, just the question is how we respond to that. So yeah, open for discussion. You guys have had a chance to look at it. I know we'll be working on a plan, and that's part of the conversation that you just told us about that he had with Bill Hewitt. So some of those details are going to be worked out. I guess, yeah, just thoughts, how do you guys want to respond?
Go ahead, Tim, if you have anything.
I was just going to mention that I appreciate the letter from commissioners in District 21. I do think, we owe them a plan on what our path forward is. I guess my concern is that whether or not we'll have a plan fairly well developed by November 1st. I'm not sure what the expectation was in terms of what that plan would look like, but I would like to think we're going to make some progress. But I guess I'm wondering, will we have a plan that is much more than just maybe a very tentative plan at that point?
Yeah, Yeah, I would echo that. And yeah, the issues that Chief Vanderbeek and Chief Hewitt are working on would be part of that response as far as what we're getting back from the public and what action we're taking to try to get input from the public. But yeah, there needs to be, in my view, some additional work by us to flesh out that plan. I think we could probably have something to them by November 1st. It may not be super detailed, but and I would throw open, I can volunteer to work with anyone, including the chiefs or whoever, in developing response to that, or developing that plan even, and then bring it back to you all. That's one way we could do it. Or we could have a meeting, obviously.
Yeah, no, great points, both of you. My perspective on it is, I don't know really how detailed also it needs to be. I mean, we can lay out, we essentially know what our bill is going to be and where that funding comes from. So we can talk about, the funding will be in place. We'll be able to make our payments. And these are the other things we're doing to, sort of a longer term viability for the district. Maybe that's, and since he wrote us, kind of this formal thing, I suppose once we get some of the bullet points, so to speak, hammered out, we could respond in writing as well. So Steve, you're willing to put some time on it. Jason, do you need, more or less, input from any of us that you think would take to respond reasonably well to this letter?
I think definitely having commissioner input is critical, and I don't think we're going to come up with what happens in the end will probably be very similar to what is in the letter in November 1st, but I don't think there's any way for us to have a concrete step-by-step, this is what's going to happen post November 1. I think what they're looking for is a good, here's our goal, here's the interim steps to get there, here's the next 3 that are solid, and after that we don't know, but we're working towards resolution one way or the other.
Quick question, Chief, back on the unfinished business, we talked about your plan for you and Chief Hewitt to develop what you're going to say to the community members and stuff, but the piece of it, what's next as far as meeting with the city? Is that all part of the same thing, or is there another meeting scheduled with the city to further plan?
So I am waiting for, I'm hoping to get a letter from the city stating that they're not going to move forward with the Northern Heights annexation.
Oh, is that the case? They've decided
that's what my research has led me to believe. Like I said, I'm waiting for something in black and white so that we can actually say that that's not going to happen. That's I don't want to say the word on the street, but that's the word on the public employees. That's what we're talking about. So once we know, if we know that's off the table, then we know, okay, District 4 is going to remain a sizable taxing district of its own, unfortunately small, but still big enough. And that would change the direction that we thought we were going 3 months ago. And that's been, I guess I'll say it, that's, the city of Bellingham being the wild card is why we can't do any planning. And once we get a concrete direction from them, it's going to make this a lot easier. Or at least it'll take 50% of the options away. So once we know that, then we can really move forward in earnest. But until that comes out in black and white or from the mayor's office or planning, we have to plan these parallel tracks.
Okay, and that we are expecting a letter for sure.
I believe so. I
Okay.
don't know for sure. I'll keep pressing on that part.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I imagine that will not only change our options, but it might scale down the role that Bellingham Fire Department is able and willing to take in our.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Okay, well, so kind of going back to the response to the letter and some of the work that needs to be done to have that happen by November 1st, if that's a deadline that we even want to accept that 21 has suggested. You know, Steve, I'm perfectly happy and thankful that you'd be willing to spend some time on that, and you can work on that. And if you eventually get to the point where you're willing to send something back, you know, that's kind of on behalf of the board, I'm very much happy to you know, release that, and confident that you can do that well.
I would certainly bring any correspondence in draft form to you all to make sure you concur before anything gets sent out. But I can schedule a meeting with Chief Vanderveen and kind of discuss what we might respond with. I'm thinking maybe responding immediately, just saying, we got your letter, we're working on it. Here's our estimate for when we actually might have a plan to you, and we'll get back to you, you know, as soon as we can on with the plan. Just
So next commissioners meeting is October 17th. So
perfect.
I think as long as we have a draft, or you guys have a draft by then, we'll meet the window of getting back to them by the November 1st date.
Sounds good.
Sure. Well, and that's, so that there's a question. I mean, again, it's District 21 basically imposing a deadline on us, which we may or may not want to accept, but am I hearing that we're okay with sort of subjecting ourselves to their timeline and trying to have something, you know, to respond by then? That seems reasonable.
I think so. You know, like we were saying, we may not have very much concrete for them, but we can, you know, get them whatever we know at the time, which I think is what they probably want.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think we do owe them a response. I think it's important that they know we're working this, and we do have a sense of urgency around putting a plan together. So I think it's important that we respond back. And like I said earlier, I'm just not sure what level of detail we'll be able to give them in that plan, but at least we'll send the message that we're working this. And I appreciate you, Steve, taking the first pass. You know, we talked a little earlier about maybe having maybe a meeting beginning of October, talk about the messaging for the public outreach. And I'm just wondering if maybe we want to just also kind of put some time aside, if we do have that meeting, to also talk about our response to District 21.
Yeah, we could certainly do that. If it's okay with you guys, I'll just start working it and kind of seeing what we might be able to include in that. And if it would behoove us to have an extra meeting to really strategize, then I'll reach out through the chief, if that works for you.
That sounds great. Thank you,
Okay.
Steve.
Okay, you bet.
Yeah. So since I'm the one that would have to call a special meeting, I mean, under normal circumstances, so do you guys want me to kind of pencil in like the first week, the first part of October? Is that when you think a special meeting would be appropriate for us to kind of get on the same page in preparation for, I guess, the next regularly scheduled one on the 17th? Would that be about right?
Yeah, that works for me. And we could always, you put it on the schedule and then cancel it if we decide that it's not necessary. However you want to do it is fine with me.
Okay, well, so Jason, just, you know, as kind of a tickler, I guess I'll probably, if I haven't talked to you before that, just kind of check in with you toward the end of the month or first part of October and see if we're ready to call a special meeting then, and then, we can put it out to the commissioners and then notify the public, if we're gonna do that.
Okay.
All right, cool. So then the other thing, was just a letter from our attorney, essentially talking about his, quasi-retirement. Doesn't necessarily sound like there's gonna be any change of service to us. Obviously his son is, kind of moving in to help take over the practice. But Jason, anything in there that, the contact's the same and
Yep.
still says he's gonna be doing work on our behalf, so.
Right.
Just, okay.
Yep.
Questions, comments, anything on that? All right, well, so October 17th would be our next regularly scheduled meeting. Does that still work for everybody?
Yes.
I will be in Mexico, so maybe that I'll try to join. I don't know what kind of service I'll have there. I think it'll be fine, but just a fair warning, if I'm not able to, that's why. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Did you want us to try to, adjust the date of the meeting at all, or you just leave it the same, and if it works, great. If not, that's great too.
Yeah, I'm comfortable leaving it the same. I'm fine with if it works
All
for
right.
you. I should be able to join. I threw that out there just in case something goes haywire. And no, you guys can do fine without me, particularly if we have that special meeting earlier in the month. So no, I'm not concerned.
Okay,
Thank
sounds
you.
good. So for the next meeting, we'd have just continued discussions on the RFA or merger or whatever else we don't know is out there that may happen between now and then. BLS reimbursement, written loop station 12 maintenance. Anybody know of anything at this point that they'd want to put on the agenda?
Just for clarity, in the last meeting, we talked about the maintenance, and my recollection was that we were going to defer that to see whether or not the levy was passed and provide us perhaps with some funding as part of the expansion. Is that so? Are we probably won't be in a position by the next meeting to know if that's in the works, right?
It would be our November meeting where we'll have a better idea of levy passage or not. And if it's passed in the November meeting, then we should be confident we can go down that road.
Well, before we wrap things up, Chief Ward, did you have anything that you wanted to add?
Nothing pressing right now. Nothing's changed from last month, honestly. Thank goodness.
Okay. So we need to sign. Jason, is everything in the fire hall ready for us?
It's all in the drawer. It's all in your drawer. Yep.
Okay. Well, anybody else have anything for the good of the order before we adjourn?
I have a question, I guess more of a comment than anything else, but I really appreciate the chief's monthly administrative reports, and I appreciate the really hard work that our staff has put in. Last month, I think the chief mentioned Jenny and Kelly doing a lot of hiring and onboarding work. And this month, he acknowledged that our firefighters are spending an awful lot of extra time covering shifts, and I'm so thankful for their dedication to do that. So I really appreciate those updates, and again, I'm very thankful for what our staff is doing. I guess I'm wondering, the comment about the firefighters having to put a lot of extra time in is you have a lot of vacancies right now and injuries as well. And I was wondering, maybe I missed this in the monthly packet, But do we keep track of what our total recordable rates are for injuries?
It's
Is
not
that something that,
it's not in the packet. And that's something I'd have to coordinate with Kelly to get to you. Yeah. Is that a report you'd like to see? Kind of like what?
I guess I was just more curious, is our TRR in line with other districts in the county and the state? Where we've had a string of incidents and
Right.
kind of relating to folks having to spend extra time.
Yeah, that I don't know. Let me see if L&I has if there's if they do a comparable type chart. That's an interesting question. I mean, just talking to my peers, we're very similar. Our experience is very similar, but I don't know, if you go outside the county, what that looks like in comparison to other similar counties in the state. That's not a question I can answer, but that's a good one.
All
I
right.
appreciate that. I was kind of curious where we kind of fall in with other districts.
Great. Yeah, thanks for bringing that up, Tim. And I also echo, the much thanks and appreciation that goes into these monthly meetings. It's a lot of work, and it is very much appreciated, even though you probably don't hear that enough.
Right now, my big thing is, like I said in my chief's report, are the firefighters are working so many hours, and it's, they're tired. And yeah, I see where Commissioner Johnson's going. That's when accidents happen. Knock on wood. So far, we've avoided any injuries directly related to, length of shift or anything like that. But it does wear on them. I see it when I talk to them. I see it when I talk to their, from time to time, I see their spouse and I hear how, John's not home. He's never home anymore. And that's hard. And it's so hard. It takes, in this industry, just I suppose like any technical industry, it takes a while to get people in the training pipeline and get them on the floor. You just can't go to labor ready and pick somebody up and stick them on an engine. So, I'd like to say relief is coming, but it's going to come in short measured bursts. It's going to take about 1.5 years to get back to where it should be. And that's if we don't lose anybody along the way. So it's a long road.
All right. Anything else? All right, then. By unanimous consent, we are adjourned. So thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Great day, everybody.